Hey guys. Okay, so I told you in my last video that I was going to like start doing these videos where it actually was a little bit more rather about my slow decline into unhappiness from like 6 months ago. I didn't actually realize I hadn't done videos for like 6 months. I thought it was literally 4 or 5. But yeah, so this one is pretty it's pretty cutthroat actually after I think about it, because when I came back after 3 months away, I am still in a great headlight space and doing what I did. So I don't know, with so noble, and I did it with just the pure like kind of love for my mum that I wanted to help out, and the fact that I could, so I did, and then came back. It was quite hard, but I came back with such confidence and happiness and kind of self-worth that was kind of renewed, because obviously some of the stuff I do, especially like with sex and everything, it kind of, I don't know, it's not very healthy in terms of like I'll binge on sex for like one day and then I won't do anything for like a month, because that's just the way I roll. But if anyone's read like Straight Jacket and things like that, they know exactly what I'm talking about, the whole red button thing. However, I came back and I was like, right, I'm going to date. I'm going to start dating. I feel like I have a lot to give. I had a lot more confidence in that way. And with that, it ended up just being me and these 3 guys. Not saying it all together, not saying that I was with 3 guys. That's just a Tuesday. I started dating different people, these 3 guys. One was really nice. He was in musical theatre, and ideally the one I should have kind of sided with. The other one was a person who I knew through a group of people that shan't be named. And the other one was just a rare wild card. Like, it was actually off Grindr. The other 2 weren't. And the other, yeah. So the guy from the West End, I literally saw him in a bar, and after like amount of time staring at each other and stuff like that, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go up to him and actually ask him like for his number. So I did. More people should do that as well. Second one, obviously I knew I had history in terms of knowledge, so I didn't really know him but still knew of him. And the other one was Grindr. So why do we do it? Why do we think the Grindr one was the best one? So yeah, I went on a few dates with him, and literally there's some traits about this person which I think it's because I was in a very good headspace. However, I actually get quite shocked at actually hearing this back, because I was like, why did you even... Ooh. And I always think, because someone's really happy, they had that door open, or the window open, or the fucking whole house open for any negative or qualities that you didn't really think that you'd actually accept, but in this weird way I did for a little bit. Yeah, so he was supposed to just come around for a hookup. But then I was like, do you know what? I'm so fucking bored of hookups. Same thing I'm with, like, if someone sends me one more dick pic on social media, I will scream. I'm not a fan of sending those sort of pictures, nor do I really want to receive a dick pic, to be quite honest. If I was going to be really honest with you, I hate sending them, I hate receiving them even more. It's like, if I got sent one, I'd be like, yeah, I don't need to go with you now, I kind of seen it. And they're not always that pretty anyway, so really think about it, especially when they've been filtered. I got a filtered dick pic the other day. I was like, mind blown. However, back onto the subject. This guy, yeah, I think he was like 44, and we went for a drink. There was instantly, like, I don't know, there was instant attraction. Like, he was a Jack the Lad. He was kind of, he owned his own company, doing all these like I don't even know, like building type company. That's how much I was listening. But yeah, there was instant sexual chemistry. I literally even said to him, like, I just want to jump on him. And there was that, and I hadn't had that in so long. So I was a bit like, right, I'm just gonna go with this. Even though I was sexually attracted to the two previous guys on the dates that I'd had, this one, I don't know, was just different. Maybe I'm just maybe I just like the whole bad boy persona. So he came back after we had drinks, and we literally just did heavy petting. I know some people hate when people say heavy petting, but we did. We literally got into our underwear and didn't do anything. There was no blowjobs, there was no, like, was there women? I'm not sure. No, I think there wasn't. I think there was absolutely nothing on the first time. But there was so much, like, aggressive, really, really aggression from both of us. Him more so, but, and then we got into the whole, like, daddy-son thing. And he's only, like, what, a few years older than me? It doesn't really make sense, but, I mean, the amount of times in London that people mention daddy and son, it used to be quite hot, and now it's just, like, fucking, like, on repeat. You can definitely know when it's coming as well. So it's just like, oh, I'm going down this roleplay. Oh, okay. But also, I'm guilty of it as well. If I want to get rid of the guy quickly, I just mention it. And then they come like that, so. Anyways, dating this guy for a while. Well, yeah, I'd say, yeah, he like took me back and forth to an airport, which was very nice of him. However, there were some traits that, on the first time we met, it was, I don't know, he did this a lot. And like, I don't know if a lot of you actually have experienced this, but like that, but kind of not hit me, but like, yeah, like that. I was just like, don't do that. I can't stand it. It actually triggered off moments from my first relationship where my boyfriend did used to hit me. And that is how it started, like, hey, like that, like, what, are you trying to make me flinch? That does not make me flinch at all, because no one will touch me, like, ever. I literally know how to defend myself because of my first boyfriend. I may look slim and I may look like I'm weak, but I'm definitely not mentally weak, and a mentally strong person can challenge someone who's actually physically strong. You don't know what, like, passion, you don't know what adrenaline can surf through them if they've been hit before, and if it's even coming around again. My question is, why did I allow it? And my answer is, I think I was just in such a, like, I've been doing my new business, I've moved into a really nice place, my life is really good, I felt really accomplished from helping my mum and helping my mum with her mum, who's my grandma. So I think I allowed it. I think I allowed a pass for this. And the behaviour, he was very like he dropped something once in the kitchen and it was like, pick it up. And I was like, what? I was like, no, pick it up yourself. And he was like, no, pick it up. I was like, and out of nowhere, I just literally said, right, you're speaking to me like my first boyfriend did, and I don't like to mention ex-boyfriends, especially to people who I've not even been on like 3 or 4 dates with anyway. But that is the behaviour I do not tolerate, so literally, stop it. And then he picked it up after a while, but there was still that sense of like, I don't know. But yeah, I still went on another date with him, ended up sleeping with him on like another time we hung out. And it was just everything about him was like, so it was that, it was the really passive aggressive messages. Like I travelled to him, and he was like, get off at this stop. And I was like, oh, well, I've just told you I've already gone past that stop. He went, well, get off at the next stop and go back to that stop and I'll pick you up from there. I was like, why are you not picking me up? So I'm going to the same place I've been to before, because I've been to his before. And he was like, no, I want you to go there instead. And it may have worked on someone who's not had mind games done to them. But this, I was just like, are you serious? Are you absolutely serious? I'm going to the place where I have been before, where you've picked me up before, opposite this Sainsbury's, and you're going to pick me up from there, end of. Like, don't change the route. And don't think that I will literally bow down to you and do all that. So, yeah, I got into the car, and it was just awkward. And what was like the clincher was, he dropped me off at the airport, but then took me to his first, and was like, I went, why are we going to yours first? He was like, well, like, I need you to remember me over your week away. Oh yeah, because I remember all the sex I had, don't I? And I don't know, it was awkward. It was like one of those people who, like, when I got naked, he was like, oh, have you douched? I'm like, if I know that you are going to have sex with me and I know it might happen, bottoms usually do douche. But then I'm naked, I'm on all fours, I think literally you've been eating my arse and you've now just asked me if I've douched. And it's like, is it because you're a little bit nervous? Is it because, it was like, oh no, I'm just checking. I was like, well, you have been eating out of it, so you would have known by then. So it doesn't really add up. So I think that's another thing to like chink it away at someone's armour. So instantly I'm turned off, and obviously when it's happening, I should have stopped. I should have said I'm not feeling it. But sometimes it's actually quite hard to get out of that situation. Sometimes I know that sounds really bad, but I also did like to have the sex. But I'm not even actually a stranger to not getting hard whilst having sex, because it's getting to that point now where I believe I need to. Well, that's why I go and see a sex therapist. But trying to claw my way back to someone who enjoys sex rather than just has sex. So yeah, with that, just little comments like, oh, do you think you should like make sure you don't grow your hair around your ass because I don't like a hairy ass, all those things. And actually, well, the worst thing is I actually did everything. Like I shaved I waxed my chest, I waxed my ass, and just to keep someone. But I did it because I don't know, sometimes I actually have a love-hate relationship with my hair on my body. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I want to get it, or sometimes I'd love to be all smooth all over, and some people are like, sometimes I get compliments for being hairy, and I like that. But sometimes it just swings and roundabouts. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. So yeah, he took me to the airport, blah blah, and love to say, and because it's two things here. So because I have an OnlyFans, he was like, so he did ignore the fact and was like, oh, I don't really understand that. Then found out what it was and then didn't want to speak to me. Then after a week away himself, he was like, oh, I actually do want to date you, but in the end you'll have to give that up because if you want us to survive, which is fair enough, that's fine. But I'm not thinking about giving up something just because someone's been in my life for less than 2 or 3 weeks. And then the other time he used to be like, wait there, hard. And the other time is, he said, I'm usually not his type. He usually goes for someone a lot purer. What? I was like, purer in sense of what? And he was like, well, just the stuff you do. And I was like, I had nothing to say. But yeah, I wanted that lift back and forth from the airport because it was going to be costly because of the times. Like middle of the night taxis from Gatwick, I ain't paying that. So so from there, it was just, everything was just wrong. So I was just thinking, what would I have done differently, or why did I let myself get involved with a guy who was completely wrong for me? But I had 2 potential bachelors who were actually nice bachelors. This one was toxic as hell. He reminded me so much of my first boyfriend. The traits of him, the attitude, everything about him was just like so not what I should have gone for, especially in a great mindset. So the question is, was I trying to press the red button because I felt so good, I felt so on top of the world? Maybe. However, when I did come back and I was thinking, no, I actually went for dinner with him after we went to go and see the Elton John movie, and I found out right during the meal, my mum had texted me, and I found out that a close friend of mine, something had happened, a family tragedy had happened, and it involved like miscarriage. And I literally was genuinely just so shocked, and I couldn't finish my meal, and I literally was like, oh, I'd like to go home. And he was like, well, I'd like you to stay, because I don't want to drive all the way to Balham. But you can sense I felt awful. My mood had changed. I felt, and that's the one thing about me. I don't really believe I'm ready to be with someone, because I think I could be with someone. It's just the people I attract. He made me feel bad for having genuine somber feelings, because he was like, oh, you've gone right down now. I was like, haven't you just? I've just told you what's just happened to close for family, for friend. And it didn't drop, like the penny did not drop, it just went, it was just awkward. And then I don't know, he almost made me feel bad for even mentioning it in the first place. And I don't mention things like that, you know. I was just genuinely so shocked by and it was the first person I was around. And yeah, I literally was in his van and I was looking out the window and I just started crying because I just wanted a hug, but did not read that from him. And yes, I should have known that that emotion is not going to be there because, I mean, with his backstory, I don't know, the back track record of what's happened with him over the few weeks, awful. So yeah, after then it was just the like straw that broke the camel's back, and I messaged him a few days later saying, the vibe has gone, like, I wish you all the best, and it was a very nice message in the end. But with the whole that constantly, like always in the car, like trying to raise his hand and kind of make me flinch, it was just so peculiar string of events that I don't know why I got involved in the first place. So be careful who you surround yourself with when you're in a very happy state, because I came back on top of the world. I still feel great. I don't feel as wanted as much as I was when I was up north. Yeah, I feel kind of a little bit lost a little bit. Happy I am, but yeah, a little bit lost of like, where's my place in London at the moment? Obviously I've started a new business and it's going extremely well, and I should just put like literally all my focus and energy into that. However, it is lovely today, and it is lovely to be around romance and not just like the sexual hookup kind of types, but yeah, just I was shocked that I got involved and fell for just the lust of someone again. So be careful. But yeah, what would I have done differently? Just delete Grindr. And just stick with the people that I meet in bars and clubs, because that's obviously the best thing for you. But yeah, yes, that was my story about literally, I don't know, what would I even title this video as? Scumbag? Because that is literally scumbag techniques. That's actually disgusting. It's actually disgraceful. And anyone who is going through anything like that, any form of abuse, mental or physically, I put some links in the video information below. So yeah, if you are finding it hard, you can always send me a message as well, because I actually have been through that sort of trauma, and it does, you can say like you can move on, you can say that you're well, you can say that you've had counselling, you can say you've done everything, but it does shape your entire journey, because you have things to relate to, and things can actually shock you right back into those times where I was 16, 17, and I'm 32 this year, and still people like that still have that resonating factor in your life. So yeah, if you ever need someone, reach out. If you want to reach out to someone personally, then you can always go through like the proper channels, and I've mentioned some links down below and some phone numbers. So yeah, just be careful who you let in, and don't let anyone shape you, and try and be yourself, and never let anyone hit you. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm going to go and sunbathe even more.